Because okay, so this is our second talk story series, all about canoe plant flower and canoe and starch flower and canoe plants. And the goal of these are just always to show up, whether we are feeling confident, non-confident, but the whole point is to know that we have a community around our love and advocacy for canoe plants, and specifically canoe plant flower, because that's where a lot of us who are showing up today. And my goal to start this as we have a plant to powder project, we have a 30 by 30 initiative. It's really to come at this from the community and to make this a Hawaii owned and Hawaii driven industry, which is starch flower, canoe plant flower. We import over 100% of our flower. We're not utilizing a lot of the canoe plants, with breadfruit, taro. The canoe plants are a large category of plants and they're underutilized. So, this whole goal was to bring people together to know, like I'm making taro flower and breadfruit flower, but there's also so many other people doing this. And we can't all just do it together. Do it alone. We have to do it together. So this talk story series, I'm really excited because I have Lourdes here with Sustainable Boost, and she's got her team here. And we're going to hear a lot about what she's, her thoughts about this. And, we had a little talk story on our own a couple days ago, and it was really just to reconnect. And it's not always like who's doing more and who's doing this and what store did you get into? And that's, the old paradigm. And, we're here as like real people with real lives and real issues. And not all of it's about doing. Like, how many pounds did you do today? And oh my gosh, how many people did you feed? Like we also need to be nurtured as visionaries and as people that are working in this space. And so it's really good to know that this community is also about like, hey, how are you doing personally? How is your family doing? Like, what's going on personally for you? So that's, the goal for me also is to say like, hey, I'm your friend, not only in this like canoe plant vision, which we do have a very strong vision, and we're not going to stop, but it's also more about this from like a personal level as well. Like, how are you doing? Mental wellness and physical well-being is just as important, which is why we're so interested in canoe plants, because they make us feel so good and they connect us to really what's important in life. That's why we're doing this work. So having said that, I just want to introduce Lourdes and her team from Sustainable Boost. They're on Kauai, and they've been doing this for a long time. And I remember first meeting Lourdes. We were at the Department of Business and Economic Development?
For money. We were looking for funds. Yes.
We met in the office, and it was so funny because, we're essentially doing, like, it's really hard to find, someone that's like interested in doing taro powder because it's really heavily labor intensive. And, we were sitting next to each other in this office in this government building. And it was funny because, right away it was like, hey, wow, we're doing the same thing. We already had this connection. And it was so cool because we are in the new paradigm, which is collaboration, not competition. So we already like have that. That's why I knew I would always know Lourdes, because she wasn't like super secretive about, oh my gosh, I'm not going to tell you this and no. She was very, and she's always been very supportive. And so here we are, get to work together on this, big vision of what does it look like? What does the 30 by 30 look? Oh man, I wasn't even tape recording this.
Add on and like a lip balm.
Mine says recording. I think you did. I think you got it.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. I think you got it.
You got it because I accepted it.
I accepted it too. So I think
I
don't think you missed anything.
Shades, maybe even my shades.
So
I will add something to that. First of all, thank you, because you're such an eloquent speaker. I just absolutely love hearing you speak, and I could just hear you speak for hours. But I did make some notes as you were speaking, because I want to piggyback on a lot of what you said, because I almost feel like you've been in my meetings, because everything that you're saying here, I've said again and again. One thing that I want to put out from the beginning. Oh, by the way, welcome, Mike. Mark. Sorry, I have a mic with me. He's my team member. Welcome, Mark. Thank you for joining us, and whoever else is joining us, thank you so much. But I want to say bravo to that beautiful introductory. Thank you. So beautifully said. But also, I want to highlight the collaboration piece that you just brought to the table. When you met me, you're highlighting something that stood out, right? That stood out. And I was able to put a like some contents in why I think that I stand out like that. First, I have a really loving and kind spirit, and I'm not competitive by nature, right? But what I realized is that people that were doing the flower were going to legitimize me, because when I started, nobody was doing it. I think we started literally around the same time, but we didn't know about each other until we met in that space where we were looking for funds,
Yeah.
and etc. But I have something that I bring to the table that not a lot of people can bring to the table, and it is that I have buyers. So whatever your target audience is, it doesn't matter to me. More power to you. If there's 7 billion people to feed, I will find my niche, market, and deliver to them, because you don't need a big audience. I mean, not me. I'm not looking to build an empire. I'm looking to, retire soon, but that's a whole nother subject. The thing is that when I met you, the way you spoke about this subject, the canoe plants, was so in depth. And I hadn't had an opportunity to speak to someone at that level, because I'm a geek, right? And I love geeks. And I just, all I did was read and read. I read every single study that the University of Hawaii Manoa has put on tarot, every single one that anyone has put anywhere in the world. But I can't talk about that to anybody, but I could to you. And your eyes lit up when you were talking to me, and you know this subject at the molecular level. And I was so blown away by everything you had to say, right? I was like mystified. It was like literally seeing a famous person. I was like starstruck by you. There it is. That's the only way to describe it. But it was your knowledge perfectly combined. Like, your tone is so perfect, combined with your passion for building community. I was like, wow, you're the real thing. And in many ways, you kept me believing in humanity, believing in my dream, and never giving up. And I'm going to tell you right now in this public forum platform that many times after I spoke to you on World Edible Insect Day, that you so graciously, accepted my invitation. We went out, with your beautiful partner too. After we talked, and you told me a little bit about your struggles and about all the hoops you've been through, you gave me this breath of fresh air that I needed to continue. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, I just want to say thank you for that. And thank you for creating this platform where we don't have any pressure about producing or creating, or like you said, I want to go back to my list. You said about talking about hours and how much did I produce? Yes, I processed 40,000 pounds of ulu 2 years ago, right? Last year was a really bad year because of drought.
With 40,000 pounds of ulu you processed. That's humongous, by the way.
Yeah, I got 3,500 pounds of flour out of it.
That's really something, that's not really done in Hawaii. So seriously, that's a huge, honestly, like one of the goals personally, what I wanted to do with this 30 by 30 was get this flour production, or just flour as a category in the agricultural statistics. But there wasn't like, no one's really doing 3,000 pounds of flour. And so
I am and have been for 8 years. No, I'm not. I wasn't at that capacity 2 years ago. I bought better equipment, and I got some grants to buy the better equipment. And then that's when I was able to scale up. But, I work 20 hours a day, Christmas Eve, Christmas Day, New Year's Eve, Thanksgiving. I work, when people say, oh, I work 24/7, you're meeting a live human that actually works 24/7. Because I've worked 48 hours nonstop with just nodding out for 20 minutes at a time. to get that much powder done, that much ulu done. So it wasn't easy. It cost me my health and a lot of stuff, but I made it through. And right now we're getting ready to start another year in the most solid way, because I have a solid team. And that brings me back to another thing that I wanted to make note of, that you mentioned, support and mental wellness. Since COVID, I've been to a lot of these continuing education programs, right, on business writing. I don't know if you know Robbie Milton. She's of the business, small business, whatever. She does a lot of free services, and they do a lot of training. And since COVID, they have concentrated on mental wellness, and how real that is. Because I've had some moments where I've needed help, where I've called someone and say, I need help. And I've had a lot of angels around me, some are still around me right now, and they're here. But if I didn't have the support that you just spoke about, hey, we want to come here and see where you are at, not in just the numbers, because I can rattle out numbers that are pretty amazing, but I can also tell you that I'm broken. Every bone in my body hurts, and that's not sustainable. Yeah.
And you can't be broke, like we have to have you, this is what I heard recently, and I was like really mind expanded from it. So if we can think of it this way, is to lead from your overflow, not your essence, which means, after you have your oxygen mask on, that is your overflow, because you're taking care of yourself. So lead from your overflow after you take care of yourself. And then you lead from that overflow that comes out of your cup already. Like, oh my gosh, there's so much, rather than your essence, which is like, you lead from the overflow. So that was something that I had been told recently, and it really stuck with me. Because until you feel that you have that overflow to give, then it's time to just like scale back and just like, be maybe as quieter, or, not so, everywhere. Because like 3,000 pounds, I just have to say, like 3,000 pounds of flour is a really big number.
But I procreate 6,000 every 3 months. That's just ulu. The rest of it is green banana, green papaya, turmeric and ginger. Green banana, green papaya, turmeric. Yeah. And then I do orange peel, moringa, but that's small scale. There's a smaller contract. It's just that I have a really large contract, and I thought I would have had some grants now, and I would have thought I would have had better equipment, but I've been doing it with sticks and stones because of sheer determination.
Well, this is amazing. And for you to even like have time to talk to us and be like wanting to be a part of this big vision, because you're already doing it. You're doing, like this vision that we're saying. That's why, the Department of Agriculture, they want to double food production by 2030, right? That was the number that the Aloha Promise had picked. And starches aren't really even on that list the last I checked. And they weren't really taking, data on starches and like taro ulu, and there's no flour on there at all. So in my mind, I'm thinking, gosh, like we could double food production, because that with starches alone. And I think
tomorrow, like we don't have to wait. Tomorrow and I proved it. If my little team and I can process 40,000 pounds of ulu, the sky's the limit. And
yeah, I mean, there was some other questions I wanted to get at before we got to this like nuts and bolts, but let's keep going on it, because you have a manufacturing place. I'd love to hear more about that and what your plans are with that. Just because I think that's where we're going, but I don't want it to be like all about what you're doing so much, because you are doing so much, but I want to hear all about that too. But I also want to be like, how are you? I haven't talked to you in so long. Like, what else has been going on?
No, hearing from you right now, and the time is that your timing is impeccable, and it's really like, wow, I couldn't have timed it better, and I couldn't have imagined it in a more better form. because remember, I have something big that I'm celebrating right now today. And Mark, you've been a part of this because I want to bring you into this conversation a little bit. I mean, to this part of the conversation, because Mark has been there for me during some really rough times and just moments where I needed to redirect and recreate reinvent, whatever you want to call it, right? So sometimes that's easier said than done. Oh, take care of yourself. Oh, well, I know how to take care of myself. I know exactly what to do, meditate, whatever. Okay, that's cool. But it's easier said than done when you have a lot to lose. When you roll everything on those baskets, you put all your eggs in one basket and you roll the dice the way I've rolled the dice, including, it's just in a real major way. It's not an easy thing to keep it together. And then you can get into this space where you're only working, working, working. I learned how to live now in a way that I've simplified my life where I don't have to work now 20 hours a day, 7 days a week for 8 years. Now I'm going to be working half the time and I want to give back to my community half the time because the overhead that I used to carry, I no longer carry. So I simplified my life in such a way that I only need to work 6 months out of the year. And that's pretty amazing. I literally can announce to the world I am semi-retired. Now I want to concentrate solely on the Canoe plans. And I have some ideas about the 30 for 30 and what that could look like and what I could offer. And if I do it right, I would love to offer to bring it to Puerto Rico. If I deliver Kauai the way I want you, with the way I perceive that I can, with your vision and your guidance, I can do it here, deliver it in Puerto Rico, and go global. And I know that's thinking I'm crazy and whatever, but just hear me out, Yeah.
It's not crazy at all. I
Thank
think
you.
too, and I think too, there's a lot of, like the ULA Cooperative was on our talk story last month. I don't know if you got a chance to see it, but
Is that recorded? Because I'd love
yeah,
to see.
we have it on the YouTube channel. So I will, oh, it's on the link on the bio of Voyaging Foods Instagram. So the link of the video is on there, and I'll put this one up there too, and any links that you have that you want people to go to, more about what Sustainable Boost is as well and how to buy products. But I think also part of this 30 by 30 and starting the Canoe Plant Collective was a way of saying like, let's work B2B and do contract manufacturing workshops and having people learn to know how to do what we're doing on a home scale, or also to support this like artisan small makers island-wide industry, because there's a lot of people that like we want to help the community too, and it's not always to tell them to go buy this at Whole Foods or at the grocery store, because that retail cost just makes everything more expensive. But if there's a way to teach people, hey, this is how you do it, because I get asked all the time, how do you make cauliflower, how do you make cauliflower, and there's ways of doing it that like we've worked with food scientists for many years, and they've taught us how to make things last a long 10 years. I mean, I have flour that's 20 years old, no bugs, no bugs.
Right. They all need to know that information. And I want to add to that, that I believe I can use my platform in my shop because I have I created a living room. I set aside what I'm calling the living room. I'm not sure exactly how I'm going to call it and how I'm going to present it, but I wanted to talk to you about it because I want to invite you as my special guest at my shop, and I want to roll out with you as the star. I want to roll out this idea, and I thought, oh my God, you would be the perfect, like I could be, I can tie you in this way. So I was going to already, without you even coming to me, saying, hey, let's talk. I have these, Zoom meetings that I'm inviting the whole public to, which I think is absolutely amazing. Thank you for this platform. I wanted to come to you to say that I would like to invite you to the shop and record what I'm going to do, which invite the community, whether you're a houseless community or the elderly or someone that just wants to eat better, to come to my shop, and I'm going to teach you how to use this even if you have a kitchen. If you don't have a kitchen and you open a can of lentil soup, I can show you how in a can of lentil soup, you can put a little bit of turmeric and ginger. That's medicine. Although we don't talk about medicine. Oh man, I didn't want to do that. Strike that off the record. I'm just saying it's like, it's good food. It's good food.
Good. Yeah.
And
Good
oh,
nutrition, good nutrition.
yes, exactly. Thank you. And I'm learning. And I want to be able to show people how in 10 minutes they can boost. Literally, I'm a sustainable boost. I give a boost of sustainability to the planet, but to your kitchen, to your everyday foods. And I'm going to explain myself in a minute. So allow me to build this platform here. I want to bring people to the kitchen and say, hey, you have a pancake batter, right? I don't care if you start with sawdust, which is ancient mama, or anything that's like heavily processed. Pancakes are not a food per se. When we eat pancakes, we haven't had a lot of nutrition. Pancakes are delicious. They're comforting. We love them. They're affordable. And we have this special connection with them. But we have to understand that once you have pancakes, you haven't had breakfast yet. Again, they're delicious and you satisfy all kinds of things, but you didn't satisfy your tummy and your system that relies on real fuel. Now, if you take that pancake batter and you add a half a teaspoon of green banana powder or green or ulu or papaya, right, or taro, even a quarter of a teaspoon, and you create that pancake. Now that pancake, when you eat it, it's pure nutrition. It doesn't know that you started with sawdust. What it's going to do is going to look for, is this nutrition? Does this have minerals and energy that I can draw from? Absolutely, you can. So this whole thing about 30 for 30 is genius in multiple ways, right? But in one of the ways is that it says, look, we don't have to make a total switch. We know that it's expensive. We can't compare what I sell my flour to $1.49 that is regular wheat right now. We can't compare. So we're not going to compete. That's not our niche. What we want to say is, are you willing to reduce what you're saying is to the community? Are you willing to reduce a little bit that will give you great dividends, in terms of health, nutrition, et cetera, nutrition especially. It fills you up. Like taro is a carb that it fills you and it's slow releasing energy, according to the Hawaii University. It releases energy slowly because it's such a perfect fiber and it's such a perfectly constructed root that when you eat it, it's slow digesting. So when you eat it in the morning, you're still digesting that energy until later in the day. So how do we tell folks that? How do we take the fear out of like, hey, just go buy it? In fact, you know what, Bryn? I don't want to talk about my product. I don't want to tell people to buy my product because quite honestly, I don't have any product to sell. I sell my product on contract. I go get the contract, and that's too much information probably to put out there. But what I want to say is that thank you for allowing me the platform, like you said a minute ago. Hey, tell people where to get your product. I really can't. I have some limited supplies at the shop. A lot of it is already pre-sold. And so I have to have my team now make more product, right? Because people have been anticipating me opening up and waiting very patiently. And I want to say a shout out there for my community, family and friends. I love you. Thank you for being so patient with me. I'm finally going to open the shop tomorrow. That I want to say. But really to do a public announcement and to say, I'm going to give free turmeric shots every day that I'm there, Monday through Friday, to the houses community and anyone over 50. And the all of Kauai residents get 50% off every product. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, regular price would be for anyone visiting. So the kama aina, instead of me being 10%, my kama aina is 50%.
Where is your shop? Tell us more about your shop.
So my shop is really a production center, is a manufacturing center. I started out with a license, a kitchen license, which is like the regular license that people get. But then I slowly went through all the paperwork, and I love the health department. They were amazing with me. They held my hand throughout it. And then I was a medium manufacturing facility, and now I'm a large manufacturing facility. I have my license for a large manufacturing facility after those 3,500 pounds we did 2 years ago. Yeah.
That's a huge benefit for Hawaii, for the whole island. I mean, for Department of Agriculture. Did you say you're also on the Hawaii Farmers Bureau?
I'm a member of the. I have from day one, from 8 years ago. They have supported me through thick and thin. When I lost my farm during the record rainfall, I lost a lot of money. They helped me with getting funds and resources, and oh my God, they were just so valuable. I've done their farmers market. I did the farmers market for 5 years. I hadn't had a day off in 8 years. Really, really, or a weekend until recently. So I want to celebrate that. But the Farm Bureau, yes, those folks there, the president and everybody in that entity, they're there for the farmers, and they go all out, and they're just an amazing support system. Mm-hmm.
So you would say like because one of the questions too I wanted to ask you is like, what keeps you going? I mean, I've never heard working that much is just, I mean, I know it's amazing that you're going to be semi-retired. I mean, that's huge in itself, because you're not only like a woman farmer, but a woman value added farmer. If, doing this value added is something that's like been this dream for many, many years. And I think sometimes, we keep talking, like a lot of the people in this agricultural and like, locally made industry just keeps talking about like what we want to see, but this is happening right now already. And I think we need to like up level our conversation and say, hey, do you know about this woman on Kauai who's doing this? Like she's producing this, and what the Ulu Cooperative is doing. Like Hawaii can produce and feed themselves. We can. I 100% like.
Amen.
And with products like this is 100% the way, breads and baked goods, and like you said, having food that is like a longer releasing digestion with nutrition. Like we don't have to eat these huge amount of meals. Like if you're eating nutritiously fiber filled meals, like they should only be this big in size. Right? So so when we kind of reframe ourselves on like how to eat and what to eat, then that's the perfect, like we can eat these plants forever.
Part of the reason, if I had to answer what keeps me going, is that this is something that it's part of who I am at the molecular level, because taro and breadfruit were my baby food. So this is not something that I just woke up to, right? This is my culture. And when I'd like to tell a little story, and I'm going to make it really short. When I moved here 20 years ago, I wanted to farm here because there was a lot of not free, but like $1 a year, that you could pay rent, lease some land. And I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. And so anyway, I moved here, and long story, but I went to the dump once and I saw these giant pile of coconuts. And I said, wow, that's a lot of coconuts. Somebody must have a nice party. Well, as I got closer to them, I noticed that the coconuts were closed. And I looked at the person that I was with, and I said, oh my God, somebody's head is going to potentially roll for this, because I can't believe they threw away this like garbage. And the person told me, no, that's what we do here. Those are the pickers. They're the palm tree pickers or something, right? And I was like, I was so flabbergasted, and I was so taken back. I couldn't understand how they have thrown away perfectly good food. Well, that wasn't the end of that, right? Nobody cared what a soursop was. Nobody cared what lilikoi was. And I was like, oh my God, soursop? Your mom doesn't make like icicles with soursop? Oh my God. I couldn't understand how far away we were. Thank goodness now, fast forward, there is not a single coconut going to waste here, by the way, because there's a lot of people that pick it and they bring it to you. They drop it off. And I don't even ask how much. I mean, I don't even ask how much is it. I just say, what do I owe you? Because I couldn't pay them enough to bring me a gallon of coconut water, right? To me, it's priceless. But I think we've come such a long way since those days that literally a coconut was considered garbage, right? We've come a tremendous way. And now I think we're so ready to hear this conversation. So that's why I think that your initiative is so important, because it brings people to the table to have that conversation and a little bit of education, right? Because we've come so far away where there's students where I'm from in Bronx, New York, that don't know what mint is. It's a bubblegum flavor. Oh, where does it come from? The store. And then how to get to the store? How to get in here? There's the disconnect. Where does an apple come from? The store. Oh, it has an apple tree. Oh yeah, we've never seen one. They're so disconnected that is truly, sad. But I think we're all ready. We're ready as a community, as the world is ready for this. Yeah. So thank you for letting me share that story.
Well, no, it's important because I was, a lot of people I think are like, when we're so like niche focused on something, people are like, how did you get so connected with this specific, category of plants that nobody outside of Hawaii knows about, or maybe, in specific areas. But like one of my questions was like, how did you get so connected to it? But you answered it, that it was your baby food and part of your culture. And that's what's so interesting is, Hawaii shares these cultured and sacred foods with a lot of different other cultures.
Yes,
Um,
especially the Caribbean. So I've climbed ulu trees all my life. I was trained on how to pick an ulu tree at its perfect peak, depending on whether I was going to use it as a starch or as a flan and make it sweet. So that I knew I was looking for something, ripe. So I know ulu and ulu growing at the molecular level. And I say that humbly, please, if I may be allowed to. So, but I grew up in this. My grandmother taught me everything I know now. And even though they wanted us to have the corner office, and get educated, because farmers lived in obscurity. Nobody cared where their food came from. Nobody cared how long it traveled, or whether it was devoid of nutrition, because it went through so much, right? And so many days after picking, you get it. But we're learning together, right? We're getting this information and we're making small adjustments together. And what you introduce is a way to make a small adjustment. Bringing it back, if I may, please, to the 30 for 30 initiative, which again, I'll repeat it again. I hope you don't get tired of hearing it. I think is absolutely brilliant because it does it in a way that is manageable. You've introduced a manageable, reasonable way to get this. And what you need, I said, I may be boots in the ground. I know exactly what you need, but what I want to tell you is that whatever you need, please let me know, because I know I can get it for you, do it myself, or find someone to get it to get it done. I'll get it done. And I want to say it really clear right now. It has nothing to do with my product. I'm not looking to sell my product. I honestly, I don't have enough product. I have more, purchase orders than I can fulfill. And I'm willing to share that too. If anybody has any surface product, I can sell it really well. However, what I want to do is bring this message that you have so skillfully crafted for all of us, and say thank you to you for doing all this research, for doing all this work, for being so courageous enough to put it in a name as 30 for 30, which I love. And I want to say, I have the time now, because I'm semi-retired, right? I have the time now to work, and I'll give you my all. And you know it, because you, like you said so eloquently, hey, I never got a feeling of like that you're protecting your secrets, or that this is like something that we're in competition about. And here's what I want to say too about another experience, and only if I have time. What time is it? Ugh, we've been on the 40 minutes. Is that enough? But just shut me down whenever you want. I don't know how much longer we want to be, but I thought I'd share one more thing that it's worth, I think, mentioning. And it just piggybacks on something you said that was so beautiful. And I want to validate it, and validate that comment that you made when you said, I have a spirit of collaboration and not competition, right? And when I met you, I was like, oh my God, let me know if you ever need any support, and I just couldn't even, I was just like throwing myself at you. Hey, that was a few years ago. Now we're here. Now I can deliver on that promise. And with zero expectation, except that you have a formula that I believe is a winning formula. And I would like to be your servant, your little,
Gosh,
ground. Yeah, your little, I'm a little Indian, your chief, whatever, and please tell me, because what you see and what I can do for you and how I can be of service. Yes.
I
Thank
really
you.
appreciate you because, honestly, like none of this is, I didn't invent anything. I feel like just listening to like a lot of people and listening to, from over the years, just being a good listener, I guess, then it just seems like I was like, well, why don't we put this together? Or, but honestly, it's for the community, and it's something that I think is a way for us all to be able to communicate on, because when I first was starting, it just seemed like everyone was like secret and competitive and had these like, secrets, and nobody wanted to really talk to me or work with me. And I was
What?
saying, well, work with me, meaning I
And I
was.
know at least me, right? One person. And to be fair,
Oh
um,
yeah, of course, but it just seemed like in the beginning we had to buy all our own machinery. If we want to make this, we have to go buy machinery, where I was sort of reaching out to people saying, hey, can we contract manufacture together? You've got the machines, can we work together on this? And it just
that,
seems like.
I'm sorry. I wish we had collaborated because I have a lot of equipment. I've upgraded my equipment. I've given it to people that are doing other businesses, But I remember what I was going to say a minute ago, that it was a story. When I was doing my health department paperwork and I was new on the block, I was at the farmer's market and I was like, hi. And I was like, so innocent. Hi, everybody. Wait, no, how can I say this positively? Because I have to be impeccable with my words. So I just thought that people weren't so forthcoming with information. And I had to learn I had to go through so many hoops, and I learned, right? Because I'm humble and I was like, okay, I will go to the health department, and I learned it. And I had a beautiful experience, and I love those guys. I give them kudos every day. But now, 8 years later, everyone that has come after me, I have given them every information, all the pieces. Hey, this is how you do it. I've had people that are doing coconut milk, that are doing Carlos and Crystal, wherever you are. A shout out to you. They've used in my kitchen. I've taught them everything. Hey, this is what you do. And they've taken the ball and got everything and did it. But I shared their information and I gave it so freely and so happily, where I never had not one person do that for me. And that's okay. And I'm okay with that. But I'm just saying that again, I'm validating what you mentioned about the collaboration and no competition, because I've never had that spirit, not with you, not with anyone, because I have my own buyers and I have my own life, and we have 7 billion people to feed. So please do your thing. If you need me to share how I got it done, I'm happy to, step by step. And that brings me back to, I would like to invite you, and I want to have like a party. I want to have a black party in Wailua, the first one. I have some band members that are friends, and they're going to be there. I want to like literally have a parade for you, and maybe kick off 30 for 30 in Kauai. What do you think about that?
Yeah, let's do the whole 30 by 30, and just have, like you said, like a kickoff party for that, and
Would you?
get some other people that are, I know you have a lot of restaurants and things, and that's what it's taking, gonna take too, is buy-in from the community. And like you said, you can't, you've got more POs than you can fill. And that's kind of how I feel, is just the production level. You need this like great team and lots of machines to really like keep this production going in Hawaii. So I give kudos to you for buying all these machines, because that's not easy. With a machine comes like, how do you fix it?
Oh, a
And
lot
if
of
you have.
meltdowns, by the way, how to fix it, a lot of situational meltdowns. But you know what, to be fair, I've had a lot of amazing folks come to me and support me and give me bailout after bailout and bet on me and never gave up on me. And every one of you out there, you know who you are, you know where you are. And yes, this is not a one-man show. I could not have done it alone. I have so many people to thank, and I'm still being bailed out left and right. However, because I wanted to go to the next level. I want to take this global, I dare say. And I know that it's like, wow, it's a big deal to think like that, but I feel good about it, and I know I can do it. I can achieve it. I can bring the message global, at least, especially if you gave me that context. If you're giving me the perfect platform, you're giving me the formula. See, I didn't do that. And that's why collaborating with you would be amazing, because I'm not reinventing the wheel, because you've done so much legwork already.
I think we're all just in it together, and I love your energy, and I love your big thinkingness, and when like the ebbs and flows of life happen, sometimes you really like that why is sometimes like a painful, like, I know this is why I'm doing it, but why does it have to be so difficult and challenging? And let's but that's when, you get to reach out to your support team and your, go-getters, and it just like switches everything back on again. You're like, yeah, okay, this is doable. She's doing.
Amen to that, Bryn. Amen to that.
So yeah, I'm excited to go to Kauai. I think like everybody I mean, even though, you're going to be making so much more that, you're going to have more products, I feel like, and I don't want to put more hours in your day, but, we need more sustainable boost products like that.
Yeah. Well, an announcement here too. My daughter has been working with a local baker here, and she's been mentored by him for many years, 6 years now. And she created a funnel cake with only green banana, breadfruit, and taro. Kalo ulu and green banana, yes.
That's
And
healthy.
yeah, and we're gonna do a soft launch here of it, but then we're gonna go to Puerto Rico and launch it over there. And she's gonna do the business over there because she's going to college and she's already, God, almost a grown up, so she's making her own decisions. But yeah, and then now she has my daughter's friend, and in the East Coast, she's opening a bakery with her friends, and they are finishing college. They're an amazing duo, and she has just made a commitment to buy the flour, figure out how to use it, and I can bring this to New York now. I can bring 30 for 30 for New York. And I see so many things, and that's why I speak with passion, because you brought me alive. That passion that you see, I, haven't had it in a while because I've just been dealing with a lot of madness and a lot of disorder. And, it's just a lot of stuff that comes with the territory, and I'm getting better at managing it. Right. And I have a really amazing team right now. And I would love to, at some point, even welcome you to the East Coast, because I will roll out the carpet for you in the East Coast. Mm-hmm. The red carpet.
I'm gonna take you up on that.
Yes. And we can do it fairly quickly. I mean, by the end of the year, I would love to be able to, okay, so now that the platform, right? So I already had that I was coming out, hey, Sustainable Boost is coming out, rising out of the ashes. We don't know what that's going to look like, but guess what? We want to, and then that's when I bring you it. Guess what? I want to put you on a platform front and center, right? Where the headlines will say Voyaging Food somewhere in it, because I don't want Sustainable Boost to be a part of it at all.
Will you say what Sustainable Boost is, and just, for sake of this recording as well, because it is very special, and I know you have contracts, so you're not always wanting to sell products, but you are giving service. You are giving a huge service to the community because you're sourcing, like local, and you're hiring local.
Paying over 2 times the going rate of those sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you, but yeah, of that crop, and making that crop viable. It used to rot in the ground. Now it's viable. It's a crop that, we want to trade as a commodity. Mm-hmm. Go ahead. Sorry, I didn't want to interrupt you.
Yeah, Sustainable Boost is the headline of like what you guys have all done. I mean, that's a really big thing.
Thank you, because you're so humble. God, that just shows me that you're so humble. But because I've already come out as what I am, and what Sustainable Boost is the opportunity for me, or my entity, right? Because this is not about me. For my product speaks for itself, is me coming to the planet with a way of eating that reaches the masses. Because the way my grandmother introduced it to me and how she prepared it, I can't do it. I could do it for the holidays, I could do it for the weekend, but I can't eat it on a daily basis. However, if you make it shelf stable and you add it, you boost, right, your everyday foods, because I can show you how to put it. Moringa, you put it in your guacamole and you're done. You put it in your eggs and you have green eggs and ham, So there's so many ways to use this that is not how my grandmother taught me. So when I saw that we were losing all this, right, the ability to even cook home meal foods, like we are eating foods that are adorned to look like food, but there haven't been food in a long time because they're so heavily processed. They mimic food. Again, they're adorned to look like food. But when I saw that, when I came here and I saw, wow, this is trash. Oh my God, we gotta go back. We gotta oh my God, we gotta do something about this. And I realized that I was gonna be a part of the solution and not part of the problem. And because my grandmother taught me how to farm and said, hey, you know, you go get your education, but know that, you know, somebody has to do this and see if you can revive this farm at one point. And could you do it? And she's watching me right now. She never got to see me farming, but she's watching me from another realm, and she's directing this. And I think that I'm going to do God's plan and not my plan. It's nice to be compensated and rewarded, but I already got that taken care of. Financially, I'm stable. Financially, I'm taken care of. Now I'm going to give back to my community. And that's why the surplus of ulu that I have, I sponsor a dozen small companies because they cannot afford to pay for the ingredient because it takes the price range out of, you know, it eats up their profit. So I sponsor a lot of a lot of flour out there. And it makes me so happy. It makes me really happy to do that.
Well, it should. I mean, this is changing the world, what you're doing. Actually, it's benefiting the world. What is that, turmeric?
Actually no, is local grapefruit with a little bit of turmeric and ginger and lemongrass. My beautiful assistant just put it in there. Literally, we have the jars on our kitchen counter, and we squeeze this. We have it in the refrigerator. We do it to coconut too. So we have coconut water in our refrigerator, and we open it with a little handy dandy, you know, gadget from Brazil. Thank you, Brazil. And yeah, we infuse all of our drinks with it, with all of my powders. There's 10 of them.
That looks like so amazing. Like, yeah. I can't wait to see you in person, and let's talk off the camera about more of this, other things that we were sort of mentioning about
Okay.
production and manufacturing. And then also would love to see the video that we filmed a few years back, and if you want to use it, that'd be fun.
Like to bring you into the conversation, because again, I have my own thing here. I'm having my first day of retail after many years and many hoops. And so I want to now concentrate on the 30 for 30. If you allow me, with your blessing, I know that I can read your stuff.
It's ours. It's not mine. So there's no leader here.
I stand corrected.
There's no leader here.
It's just, you have such a head start, and I know that there's so many components, there's so many departments, there's so many balls in the airs for you and people like us that are farming, then harvesting, then processing, then selling, and then putting on the shelf.
Yeah, the vertically integrated, that is a whole nother level. I mean, there probably should be like a psychological study about people that want to be vertically integrated, I mean, touching every piece of the processing from plant to powder to package, and doing it regeneratively.
Wow. Yes, and we believe that we're doing it regeneratively because we are committed to growing to harvesting soil. So we're in the production, right? We're in a mode that we want to first farm the earth, the soil, and then let it grow some stuff for us, So that's why we bought the crickets as a component, because the crickets have incredible fertilizer, which we haven't brought, but let me just bring that to the table for a second.
Yeah, please.
What was that?
Yeah, please. Because that's the backstory too.
Point taken. Yes, is the backstory is that I want it to be a full sustainable circle. I want to have food whether there's a barge or not. And I believe that I've solved that in terms of how to manufacture protein, because I grow the food that I give my crickets a second. I use the frass, and it took me almost 6 years to figure out how to collect the frass, which is in essence droppings, right? Like we call gecko droppings. So I was trying to figure out how to harvest my cricket droppings, which is called frass, and it's perfect medicine for plants and diseases. So it heals plants' diseases like nothing else on this planet. So I have been able to add that precious gold and fertilizer to my products. And also I work with a farmer here, local farmer, who does charcoal, as a soil amendment, right? And like it's just perfect soil amendment. I don't even know if it could be called a fertilizer, but I have been using local things that are manufactured here from beginning to end, right? To be able to create a food crop that is easily digestible, is easily harvested, because you can have food in 60 days from egg, a cricket from egg to harvest is 2 months. You
Wow.
can do countertop. I want to teach everybody in my kitchen, and I want to bring you as a guest and other chefs. And I also want to do, I already have a list of chefs that are going to do a secret ingredient basket like the Food Channel does it, and create some stuff. But I want to be able to teach people how to grow crickets on their countertop, literally. And yeah, and see how easy it is to dehydrate and to put it in your smoothie. And it's undetectable. It doesn't change the taste of your smoothie. You don't even know it's there. If you can get past the ick factor, because there is a tremendous ick factor. I went live with someone on Oahu on World Edible Insect Day. I forgot the reporter's name, but he was darling, right? And he was gagging, literally almost gagging while the cameras are going. And he's like, "It's not bad." And I was like, "Ma'am." And then it went on me, and I like tried it. I mean, "Sir, it's okay, guys. You know, for the first time, it's kind of hard, you know, but it tastes like sunflower seeds, you know." And so we need to first get past the ick factor, right? And think shrimp. If you can eat a shrimp, you can eat my tiny little cricket, really. But I found a way to create food. And what motivates me is that I love to produce unique foods and get people to try them and to figure out how to eat new things and see how easy it is to make ulu mashed potatoes.
Yes.
Because all my life, I'm just sharing my culture with others. Really, it comes down, it's that simple. So I'm telling a story, and my buyers love that story.
I do too, and I can't wait to come and visit. And I mean, thank you so much for sharing your passion, because you are so passionate. And of course, like, you're eating the healthiest food, so you can see it in your glow and in your, like, just your energy. And you're so humble in what you're doing as well. Like, that is just, I would love to be able to be producing as much as what you are doing and not to be this competitive, but I'm just in awe of it, because
Have the
that,
material. How? If you have the raw material, because that's what you need. You need an army to collect that much raw material.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Well, I can't wait to talk later and just continue the conversation. And we were sort of having like a thought, we're doing these talk story sessions once a month, the first Monday of the month. But really, like, showing up for each other, and just, even if it's like 2 people, 3 people, it doesn't matter, because we can still be talking more. So maybe we'll do lives more. We'll just like get on here, and even if it's 15 minutes, it doesn't have to be a full hour, but let's like connect more often on a consistent
I
basis.
love it. We'll invite people, but if it turns out to be you and I have a plan. And if you've accepted my invitation, I'm gonna, create a magnificent platform for you to shine. For us to shine. Remember, it's not about you. Hey, you're redirecting me. For all of us to come together and shine. I have
eat.
Mm-hmm.
Eat the best food.
Go ahead.
Eat the best food connected to this land that is so magical and special.
Yeah, amen. I wonder what is going to look like, what this collaborative effort is going to look like. And I think that part of getting this message out there is education. That to me is it's in everything you see. Turmeric and ginger. We didn't care about it before. Now we know, that if you take it before taking your SATs, you got higher grades. And nobody disputes that anymore. Harvard University had said that. Harvard University said it. So I'm quoting what Harvard University said, just to be clear. But 10 years ago, we didn't really want to hear it, because I know a lot of companies in New York that started turmeric business and failed because the public wasn't ready to receive that information. We're in the most amazing times for this message to go out there. And I'm looking forward to see what comes out of there. Mike, can I bring you into this conversation? Thank you for waiting for an entire hour. Do you have any observations? Do you have anything to add to this, please? Can I give you the platform now and put you on the spot?
I had to leave, but so maybe next, yeah. So maybe next time we could ask him some questions and get him on again. And, next week or later this week, I'm open to just like, be consistently connected. So and we can create, more about what we want to see with a 30 by 30, just like transparently, we can do it on the camera so that there's more of like this authenticity, but also accountability. So I realized like when you put your, like intentions out there, there's an accountability also. And I believe, seeing it in a vision and hearing it and writing it down is also part of like how you manifest. So
It's a major part. It's a part.
yeah.
Mark had left because I would have been relaxed and talking, not be all proper, Gosh, there's other people. Sorry.
Okay. Well, it's on the hour.
Huh? Is it out there or just us two now?
It's just us two now. So it's been a whole hour. So we had a lot of good information, and thank you so much for sharing everything. And let's keep the conversation going, and we'll figure out when we're going to talk next.
I just have a question because I want to have real clear, like I want to be ultra clear with you. Is it okay then to say, hey, I am coming out of whatever, rising out of the ashes? I'm probably going to quote the article like you say you like the article. I wanted to ask you, when you read the article, if you didn't know all the details you know about my struggle and about the da-da-da, what does the article tell you? And how can I bring it on in the circle that how can I bring you into this,
Well, I mean, and just to reference, you're referencing the Hawaii Business article that you are in. What month was that? Was that this month?
No, that was like 2 months ago, maybe. It was this year.
So I'll figure out how to put a link on that on this YouTube channel so that anybody wants to read it, they can. But it really references the houseless population and how you give back. And I really do think that the 30 by 30 might be a good platform and way to do that, because whatever that, I'm always just thinking like 30% is an easy intro way, and you're feeding way more than 30%, but I'm just thinking that there's a give back in terms of that. And maybe the 30% is like you give back 30% of your, production, or it's 30% of your proceeds for the week, or whatever it is. I think like that 30 is a great way of just when you're trying to do something new, or eat a new meal, like with like say rice. I want to start eating brown rice. Okay, well just mix in, a third of a cup with the white with the brown. And that's a good way of just saying, okay, I'm moving forward. So maybe the article in my mind is like how we integrate this collective vision of how we want to see Hawaii taking the next step towards food sovereignty in a way that it's starch focused. And that 30 by 30.
Okay, food sovereignty. I like that. Okay, so this allows us to get closer to our plan. I mean, our goal, which one of them is multifaceted, but one of them is food sovereignty. Yeah, a major one, a significant.
Right. And that 30%, like, and that's where people are like, okay, is it 30%? You have to, what's the 30 by 30? And honestly, why can't the 30 be 30% of everything? Like 30% of your meal should be replaced with starch, Hawaii starch crops, or canoe plant flour, taro flour, breadfruit flour, green banana flour, pea, arrowroot, sweet potato. That can be a 30 pie. And then there's another, like I can see this whole wheel where there's like the pies, and it's like, we're talking what that 30 is. And then, maybe there's 30 restaurants, or 30, there's a lot of 30s that we can input there, or there's 30% of the population are eating this way. And so we have these, verbal like sign-offs, or I just think it's a way of getting the people to think about this in a way that they buy into it. So it's not us driving it, it's coming from the community as well, so that they can come up with like, where's your 30?
That's huge. That's huge. I would like to know then if I can come out of this hiatus that I've been, right? This sabbatical that I've been taking, come out and say, hey, we have our retail, come and get your free turmeric shot, and then come to the table, to come to the living room. I'm not sure what I'm gonna call it, the boost living room. I'm not sure what I'm gonna call that entity, but then could I create a agenda of what I want to do when you come in, and how soon would you be able to do this? How soon?
I'm planning, like middle of June or the end of June.
You would be willing to come in the middle of June? Really?
Well, yeah, I'm working on, I have some containers that are, making flour on Oahu, and we've got some work to do in June. So I'll be on Oahu then for sure.
But
And
where
I
are
would
you
love
now?
I'm in California right now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, my kids are finishing school this week, so then I'm headed back to Hawaii.
Okay, cool. So you're gonna come back. Oh, so you're coming in Oahu mid-June, and then you would be okay. So if you come here, you don't need a place to stay. You stay in my studio. You don't need a car. I have a car.
Thank you. You're so sweet.
Yeah, you just need to get your ticket, and in my studio, there's plenty of food wherever you eat. You don't have to worry. All you need is your ticket to get here. That's it. And if you're Oahu and you're coming mid-June, we can make this happen. I can get the mayor. I can actually. How long will you be on Oahu this visit?
Well, as much as I can.
Oh,
My
all
kids
right.
aren't gonna be, it's all about the kids' schedule for right now, but
So
let's do
that's
this off. I'm gonna stop the recording and then we can figure out the details after that.
and it doesn't have to be now. It doesn't have to be now. If you
Okay.
gave me happen, yeah. Let's stop the recording.
Okay. Thanks, everybody.
Bye.